I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share it with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
Does it feel like we're on the road to WrestleMania? Honestly, ask yourself that question. Does it feel like we are on the road to WrestleMania? Or does it feel that we're on the road to Backlash or Clash in Paris or Clash at the Castle or Great American Bash, Night of Champions, Clash of Champions, any B-level pay-per-view? That's honestly what it feels like to me. That's honestly how this whole thing feels to me. This is the worst road to WrestleMania I have ever seen in all my years of watching pro wrestling. I've been watching pro wrestling for over 30 years. This makes no sense whatsoever. This sucks. This honestly sucks. It makes no sense whatsoever. Why is Stephanie McMahon involved in the Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes feud? We don't need Stephanie McMahon in this position. We don't. All right? She was on this show. Why are we doing a pull-apart brawl where CM Punk power bombs Roman Reigns to the announce table, which is basically a tit for tat from last week when Roman powerbombed CM Punk to the announce table? We didn't need that. We needed a promo segment involving these two as to why both guys hate each other. Didn't Roman say that he legitimately hates CM Punk on after he won the Royal Rumble, his first night back? It makes no sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, please. This is awful. This is awful, man. And you know what? I'm going to be 1,000% honest and transparent with you guys. I am ready for WrestleMania to be over with. Yes. I 1,000% am ready for WrestleMania to be over with. Legitimately, I'm ready for it to be over with. This has sucked. I do not care about Roman and Punk. I don't care about Randy and Cody. The only thing I really care about on the card is really Femi and Brock Lesnar. I don't care about anything else at this point. I just don't. You have two massive world title matches that should be feeling larger than life, that keeps us captivated and on the edge of our seats every single week to see what are they going to do next. You have your four biggest stars, Punk, Roman, Cody, Randy, and it feels like Brock and Oba are more important, right? I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say at this point, man. I don't know. I don't. But it is what it is. Nothing can be done. This shit just sucks. That's all I can say. It sucks. All right, let's go ahead and get into Monday Night Raw from March the 30th, 2026. So we kicked this off with Cody. Gets on the mic, does his usual shtick of what he want to talk about. So Stephanie McMahon shows up. She gets a really good reaction. So Cody and Stephanie, they have some words. Both of them mention each other's pops. Stephanie slaps Cody. Stephanie gives Cody some some tough love advice, saying that Cody's not his father, and this version of Cody Rhodes can't defeat this version of Randy Orton because Cody has no idea who he's dealing with. Cody says that he knows that there's a swath of people who wants this student-teacher dynamic, but the student left a long time ago when he babysat Randy all those years ago. Stephanie says that she never wanted to see the student out of Cody, but the reality is he's not ready for Randy come WrestleMania, and it may be the last time that Cody will be introduced as the WWE champion. So Stephanie begins to leave the ring. Cody grabs her, and he just tells her thank you, and that was it. So this is fine. We get a little bit of tough love from Stephanie. I've been reading online and hearing online that maybe the person that Randy's talking to could be Triple H, and maybe this could be a start of a new authority angle that they did with Daniel Bryan back in maybe, I think that was 2013 to 2014 when they did that. And, that would be interesting. Maybe you also have Royce Keys be the guy who's the enforcer. Maybe he shows up at Mania, costs Cody maybe. I don't know. That's just something that's on my mind post-Mania that I heard and that I thought was interesting. And I kind of really agree with that. I think that would be great. That would be a perfect way to introduce Royce Keys, a.k.a. Will Hobbs. Although I think that Will Hobbs should really be on NXT for a little bit. At least for a good six months to a year. And then come back to the main roster. But he debuted at the Rumble. And he's not really done nothing since. So I think they'll probably end up introducing him post-Mania. So we'll see him on the SmackDown after Mania, more than likely, which makes the most sense. Because Randy should obviously win come Mania. So there's that. All right, moving on. Danhausen shows up. So, IShowSpeed shows up. He's on this show. So, Danhausen offers to uncurse IShowSpeed in exchange for revenue. So that's fine. And then Adam Pearce, for some reason, he shows up. He says that he does have a front row seat for IShowSpeed tonight, and he addresses LA Knight as the special guest commentator of the tag titles involving the Usos and the Vision. Okay, that's fine. So Adam Pearce is confused about all this and everything else. So this leads us into the first match of the night. The Vision, Logan Paul and Austin Theory, they defeat the Usos, Jay and Jimmy. So that's fine. Nothing special, just a bunch of, kendo sticks, trash cans, steel steps, the usual shit, basically. So Logan Paul's mom, she gets involved. They talk trash. So IShowSpeed shows up. He tries to help, but it goes awry. He ends up taking out LA Knight with the brass knucks by accident. Didn't mean to. And Logan Paul ends up hitting Jay with the brass knucks. And then Austin Theory slides in and then collapses on to Jimmy to make the 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's fine. Who really cares about this stuff? It doesn't really matter. I don't give a damn about any of this at all. Apparently they're going to do something interesting with IShowSpeed at Mania, more than likely. I don't know what he's going to be doing at Mania, but he'll more than likely be there and do something. So there's that. Who cares? Moving on. This leads us into Liv Morgan. She's out next. She gets on the mic. And she says that she's not here to mince words with Stephanie Vaquer. So she calls her a bitch. That being Stephanie Vaquer. So Liv runs down the champ for coming after her family in the Judgment Day, asking if she's scared to confront Liv face to face. She doesn't know what it's like, where Stephanie comes from, but where Liv comes from, she knows it's on site. It's like, okay, when did you become black all of a sudden? So it is what it is. So she then talks about Stephanie Vacker's mom. She said something in Spanish. I don't know what she said. Maybe she called Stephanie's mom a bitch, maybe. Probably more than likely. I don't know. So Liv then calls out Stephanie Vacker. So Stephanie Vacker shows up. They have a brawl. Then Roxanne Perez, who's been gone for a couple of months, maybe about 3-4 months now, I think because she had surgery. So congrats that she's back. So she got involved basically, and they beat up Stephanie Vacker. So Stephanie ended up eating a Oblivion on the steel chair, and Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan, they posed with the championship belt. The rest of the Judgment Day, they showed up as well, so that's fine there. All right, who really cares though about any of this? Moving on. This leads us into iShow Speed. He's on the show again. The Vision, they're backstage. They tell him that everything's going to be fine. So Paul Heyman shows up, says that the champs are going to take out their friend for dinner to celebrate. So Heyman tells iShow Speed that the Usos are going to kill him. Adam Pearce talks to Paul Heyman about an email he sent the Oracle. Paul Heyman tells Adam Pearce to print it out and give it to him. And then that was it. So this leads us into Laura Valkyria and Bayley versus The Last Legend and Nia Jax for the Women's Tag Team Championships. It's a no contest, basically. Who really cares? I don't care about this at all. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, they come out, they get involved. So we know this is going to be a fatal 4-way. Basically, the crowd boos at this. It doesn't really matter. All this shit happened on SmackDown anyway. It's rinse and repeat with this shit. It really truly is. Moving on. This leads us into an announcement for Saturday night's main event. It's going to come back to Madison Square Garden on July 18th. Nice. So they've got a good 3.5 months to get stuff done. Okay, good. That's good. So that should be interesting. Hopefully we can get more than 4 matches on the Saturday Night Main Event show. Hopefully. We need to have at least maybe 5 to 6. At least 6. But Triple H, if I can only do 4 matches, we'll do 4 matches. Alright, moving on. This leads us into Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. So Paul Heyman gets on the mic, this yaps as per usual, talking about how Brock was distracted 2 weeks ago and caught off guard by Seth Rollins and Femi. So Brock shows up. He's not dressed to fight. He wanted to have a beast to man conversation with Oba, but Oba chose to fight when Brock wanted to have a conversation. So Paul Heyman says, if you notice, Brock dressed to fight. And he continues to put over Brock. And so Lesnar gets the mic from Paul. And he calls Oba, tells him to get his ass out of here. And he gets Adam Pearce. So Adam Pearce is like, nah, we're not going to do this shit at all. Lights go out. Oba's music hits. Oba shows up. He's in his ring attire as well. He beats the shit out of security. Then him and Brock have a stare down. The crowd chants, holy shit. And then they're about to go at it when Triple H shows up, and I wanted to bang my head against the fucking wall. Well, against my computer screen. Because this pissed me off. So, they didn't get to fight. Triple H is like, save it for Mania, save it for Mania. And the crowd boos with this, and I agree. And then Lesnar ends up F5ing one of these security guards. Oba ends up beating one of these security guards. He also shut down Adam Pearce before he got into it with Brock. So, there's that. I didn't like this. I really didn't. I didn't like this at all. This makes no sense. You mean to tell me that we couldn't have Oba and Brock brawl for a small bit, maybe like 10 seconds? Oba gets the upper hand. Lesnar gives him a low blow, F5, and then that's it. I would have loved for that to happen, but it is what it is at this point, man. We still got 2 weeks left, so hopefully something interesting can happen. Again, we need a face and heel dynamic, but we don't really need that right now. I think we'll get that when they face again, because this feels like this is not a one and done type of situation. This feels like a feud that's going to brew. It's going to start at Mania, and it should continue through SummerSlam. So yeah. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into Finn Balor. He gets on. He's got a video package backstage. Didn't really say too much of anything. Just saying that he's gonna hurt Dominic Mysterio. So whatever. All right, moving on. This leads us into Kofi Kingston versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. This match was pretty decent. Grayson Waller ended up getting involved. Penta took him out. Kofi ended up hitting up Trouble in Paradise. Penta kicked out at 2, which was great. And then Penta ended up hitting the Mexican Destroyer for the 1-2-3. There's that. So post-match, Penta gets on the mic. So Penta promises pain for whoever wants to step up. He says that he spoke of Adam Pearce and that the title is going to hang high. If you want it, climb and fall, because up there it's not your world, but it's Penta's kingdom. So basically, Penta says it's going to be a ladder match for the title, which is fine. I figured they were going to do this. I really did. I figured in the back of my mind they were going to do some type of multi-person match, whether it be a Fatal 4-Way, which I had talked about for a couple weeks on the channel, basically. But this is fine. I mean, it gets a lot of people on the show. Javon Evans, Penta, obviously. So that's fine, I guess. Whatever. This should be fun, though. This should be fun. Hopefully this is a match that goes on first, so you can get the crowd big into it. You give everybody maybe about a good 25 minutes to get stuff in, do crazy ladder spots, and go balls to the walls crazy. I think that would be great. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into Paul Heyman. He's once again confronted by Adam Pearce. Pierce wants Paul Heyman to read this email of some sort. All right, whatever. Who cares? This leads us into Paul Heyman again. He was on the show, yapping up, talking about really a whole bunch of nothing. He puts over the Vision for winning the tag titles earlier on. Makes fun of Adam Pearce, calls him a wannabe mid-level pseudo general manager. So Adam Pearce shows up again, and he wants to tell Paul Heyman that he should check his emails because Seth Rollins, the charges have been dropped. So Paul Heyman continues to put himself over, saying that he's the last manager standing from the 80s and the last promoter standing from the 90s. So Adam Pearce drops the mic and says that Seth Rollins has been medically cleared. So Seth Rollins shows up. He's got a trench coat on, which looks pretty cool. He hits Paul Heyman in the back with a steel chair. Then he's about to beat down Paul Heyman some more, but Gunther shows up, who's been gone for basically over a month. He put Rollins to sleep with the sleeper hold. He shouts at Seth, and then he points at the WrestleMania sign, and he lets Rollins that he's what's in store for Rollins' future. All right, who cares, really? I don't care about this. Who gives a damn? Moving on. This leads us into Io Sky versus Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel gets the win, basically. That's fine, I guess. Asuka got involved in everything. So, that's fine. I guess this is leading to, like, Io and Asuka doing something at Mania, I would presume, I guess. So, there's that. Moving on, this leads us into John Cena. So, basically, he's going to be the host of WrestleMania 42, which is obvious. We already knew that was going to happen anyway. So, Cena's been out of retirement for about 3 months, basically. He's been retired for 3 months. They're doing this just for ticket sales. Who gives a damn? I mean, it's fine, I guess. They're still not going to sell any more tickets, so if we're being honest. I mean, the prices are outlandish, if you ask me. But what do I know? I mean, shit. Who's got $10,000 to be on Cody Rhodes' tour bus? Give me a fucking break, man. Holy shit. If you're gonna spend $10K on that, nah, man, please, nah. Moving on. Adam Pearce said that Seth Rollins is pissed. He's looking for revenge, and he'll get it because he's gonna face Gunther at Mania. So that's official. So that's fine. Moving on. Closing segment of the evening. Roman Reigns shows up. He wants New York to acknowledge him, which they do. CM Punk shows up, and the two of them just have fisticuffs real quick. They get into a brawl. Roman and Punk be officials, and then CM Punk hits the GTS to Roman. Well, no, Roman hits a spear on Punk. Then Punk gets the upper hand. He hits a GTS on Roman, and then he powerbombs Roman through the announce table, and that was the show. So it is what it is. I am not excited for this at all. I don't know why we're doing this. This didn't need to be on the show, need to be done at all. We need a war of words. I know people online were saying, well, they've already had enough words. It's like, no, they have not. This should really be a feud built off of promos. We don't need them to get physical at all, really. We don't need for them to get physical. I don't want them to fucking brawl. Like, enough. Like, why do both guys hate each other? Why is there animosity there? That needs to be answered. Not just them taking pop shots at each other, right? You know, Punk mentioning Roman's pops passing away and all that stuff. Not that. We need to know why CM Punk and Roman Reigns have animosity towards each other. You know, why can't you bring up the whole situation with Punk not wanting Roman to be the third guy in the Shield and saying, you know, my friend, referring to Chris Hero, you know, bring him in to the situation and saying, you know, well, Roman, you weren't ready yet at that time or something like that or whatever. Something, you know, that's what I would do. But what the fuck do I know? But it is what it is. But Raw was, I guess, okay. But again, I'm not excited for Mania. I'm just not. Outside of Brock and Oba, that's about it. But both main events for the world titles, Cody and Randy lack heat. Roman and Punk lack heat. So I don't know, man. I really don't fucking know. Same thing with the women's world titles. Liv Morgan, Stephanie Vacker, Jade Cargill, Rhea Ripley. But whatever. But what did you guys think of the show? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.